It's the Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coach's Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's on 101.9, 100.5, 1450, WGNSSports.com, and Big G TV.
And this portion of the Coach's Show brought to you by Prentice Allsup Heating and Air, family owned and operated since 1977. Get the best service with Prentice Allsup Heating and Air online at PrenticeAllsup.com. John Dingens back with you here for the middle portion, and we've got Coach Kevin Creasy on the line here talking some Oakland football. And, Coach, congratulations on another region title, but a big win over Riverdale by a score of 35-21. But it wasn't easy, was it?
No. It was everything we had warned our players about, Knew it was a rivalry game, knew we were going to get their best shot. Those guys definitely played well. I thought Riverdale did a great job and, could have went either way, especially late in the game. But tip of the hat to Riverdale and Coach Creasy. They did a good job. And ultimately, though, we got to tip our hat to our team who fought back. Time and time again, we fought back. We've been behind against Riverdale the last 3 years and fought back and came away with a win.
There were some big moments in that game and some big plays, and by several individuals. A 94-yard kickoff return by Giovanni Malone that kind of got the game going, a little spicy, and a tremendous run. I mean, talk about following your blockers and following that wedge, and he went right up the middle. It was an amazing run, and I know that got you off to a good start.
Oh, no doubt. And he's a sophomore, but he understands the rivalry, and, the message is clear. If you want to, they're always going to beat us in the stretching contest. You know what I mean? They get really excited over there, and, their band does a great job of, they're loud and proud and playing loud. And we always look, if you want to get those guys a little quiet, let's do something with this opening kickoff. And Gio not only scored, but the last 10 yards, I wasn't a big fan of this, but he gave a little quieting down with his finger, shush signal. And
yeah.
I was like, that's a little overboard because to Riverdale's credit, they took the next kickoff, bobbled it, and went 92 yards right down the field and scored on us and answered the bell. So we didn't keep the band quiet too long.
Yeah, it was a fun game to watch. I know it probably on a coaching end of it, but let's talk about the play. This is a controversial play. I think it's fourth down. You're on your own 29. Is that right? Am I correct there?
Yes, sir.
And you went for it. You tried to get them off sides first, then you went for it. What was going through your mind right there? Because I agree with you wholeheartedly. I would have gone for it as well because you didn't want them touching the ball again if you could keep from it. And this was you had the lead and a crucial fourth and one, and you made it. And but I agreed with you 100% because I don't think I'd want them to get the ball back either.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say, oh, that's a gutsy call, great call, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, if it doesn't happen, if the linebacker runs through and makes the tackle, I'm an idiot, so it can go both ways. If it doesn't work, why did he do that? Why did he punt? Why didn't he, give his defense another shot? And so it works both ways. It was one of those deals where, we snap it to our best football player, and he's going to have to make a play. But the biggest part that nobody understands is that we had a kid that didn't dress out. He's been hurt for, 3 or 4 weeks, and, he wanted to play, and we told him that he couldn't. Michael Brown, number 0, he's one of our best football players, and so he's sitting there at halftime trying to talk me into letting him dress out. Of course, I told him, I was like, look, you cannot do this. You can't. I know you want to play. And he's like, this is an emergency situation. I was like, all right, you're going to have to understand we're going to make the playoffs no matter whether you play or not. And so the next thing I know, we're sitting there in the late third quarter, and we're like, all right, well, we got to have a 2-point play. And, out of a certain package, we don't have an eligible receiver because his backup, a sophomore, is a lineman instead of a tight end. And they're like, well, Michael's here. He told us you told him to dress out. And so this dude has gotten dressed and got his bad ankle wrapped. The trainer has wrapped him up, and he's like, Coach, I'm good. I'm good for a few plays anyway. And so the big part is whenever we scored in our I formation on toss sweep, that was the first play he was in. The second play, he was wide open on a 2-point conversion that we eventually threw to Reese Smith. And then he was only in on a third play. He played 3 plays, but it was all on his own. He called his own number, and we ran behind him on 4th and 2. And that's the kind of people you want to run behind on 4th and 2. Michael Brown, put himself, his injury and all that on the line. And like I said, did a lot of it on his own, and it's just gutsy. And so he's a big part of the reason that we converted the 4th down. His block was crucial.
Well, I'm going to make him the SRM Concrete Strong Performer of the game with that result, and I'm glad you told that because I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, you don't read about that in the newspaper a lot, but that guy, he played 3 plays, and all 3 of them were crucial.
You had big plays all night, and I want to mention Dante threw a touchdown pass, added 7 carries for 60 yards, but the go-ahead 43-yard TD run in the fourth quarter kind of clinched it for you, and that was a tremendous run too. I mean, that was weaving in and out. I mean, he made some super moves on that play.
Yeah, Dante is a great football player, great kid to be around. I know he and Coach Creasy are still tight. They've got a great relationship. He did a great job for Riverdale last couple of years, and we were really happy to get him over here. This guy, he's never wavered from competition. We got Cam Morton, who's a great quarterback as well, and they basically go in every other play. And we had a nice little pass concept where we had a couple guys we felt like were open, and then he pulls it down, which, I'm fine with that too because he made one of the best runs I've ever seen in a tight ball game. Or, I think it was like 4 people that he made miss on his way to the end zone. And so, props off to him because, this game was special to him, playing a lot of guys that he knew real well and coming out and throwing a touchdown pass, running a touchdown pass. I thought that was huge.
Kamani had a good game. Kamani Bass, 92 total yards. And, boy, when you can get that kind of production from him along with Tut coming in as well, that says a lot for the running game. That really helps. And I do want to mention the offensive line, too, because those guys have done it all year long.
Yeah, everybody talks about our young quarterback. They got to understand we have 2 sophomores that are starting on the O-line. We have a junior that's starting. We have a freshman that's one of our best ones. And he's been starting every single game. Trent Gibbs, you're going to hear that name a lot in the future. But we have a senior tight end, Reese Smith, and then, we've got a senior center. But that's it. So it's all these young guys. Tyler Eady, as our coach, does a great job with the O-line. And, they opened up some huge holes for Kamani, who weighs in at a whopping 132 pounds. So the hole doesn't have to be too big for him to go through. We run the same play with Craig Tutt at 190 pounds, and it was like a 1-yard gain. So give credit to Kamani for being tough to run inside where all those big guys are. And he's just got a lot of guts and a lot of skill. And so that was like I said, total team effort. Had receivers blocking downfield, had quarterbacks carrying out the fake. So it was a good couple drives. When we had to have a first down, we got it. So there were some big plays.
There sure were. And, again, like both sides had big plays. Let's talk defensively here just a minute. Travion Jackson, 9 tackles, 2 sacks. Let's see, Cullen Williams, 9 tackles and a sack. In a game like that, gosh, that's pretty valuable stuff.
Yeah, I think their quarterback is phenomenal. I think he does a great job. I think he's one of the better players we've seen this year. And Newsom was, just dialing it up. And in order to try to cover, 4 receivers, we had to spread it out, and we had a light box a lot of times. For Cullen to, almost have double-digit tackles, I thought that was huge. But Trayvon had a great game. His tackles a lot of times were for losses. He had 2 or 3 tackles for loss, and then the 2 sacks. You throw that on top of them. They both had a great game. And then, like I said, our DBs, I thought, they had some trouble with those receivers, especially early in the game. Unfortunately, we got to third and extra long, not third and long, third and extra long, over 10 yards. And I think they went like 4 for 4, converting third and 18, third and 23. And so, we've got 3 guys that are safeties back there that are all going to play on Saturdays, and we got to have them make some of those plays. And in the second half, I thought they did. They've got a kid that we were real familiar with, Luke Tritch over there, played for our middle school team last year. He was our best player for the middle school. He's over at Riverdale now, starting on the varsity, and he got a touchdown pass on us. The kid from Loretta, I thought he's really good. I think he's probably their best athlete and their biggest target. He caught a touchdown, when we know they're going to throw it to him, and he catches it anyway. But in the second half, our defense made them have to throw it, to the kid from Rockville. They didn't have a catch. I don't think Tritch or either one had a catch in the second half. So it was one of those deals where, you try to make them play left-handed if they're right-handed, make them play up if they're down, stuff like that. So eventually I thought our DBs kind of played the way we wanted them to play in the first half and made some plays and got off the field on third down instead of letting them convert it.
What an entertaining game. Couple of quick questions here with Coach Creasy from Oakland. One of them real quick. I know you're not going to tell me what you know about Cookeville. You probably haven't looked at it yet, but I know that's your first. It starts all over now. Everybody's got 0-0. Cookeville's been there many, many years.
Oh, yeah. Cookeville, I tell you, man, they got good coaching staff. They do a good job. I like what they do on offense and defense. Of course, I've looked at them. We played on Thursday night, so nowadays you can flick on a YouTube channel and you can see a team that you're about to play, whether you traded film or not. I think they got a great thing going. And here's the deal. We know all about Mount Juliet. Mount Juliet probably should have beat us in the second round last year, and they beat Mount Juliet. We know all about Lebanon. We go over throw with Lebanon 7-on-7 all the time. Chuck Gentry and Chuck and them were 8-1 going into the game and got beat by Cookeville last Thursday night. So, when you go in and beat an 8-1 Lebanon team, that gets our attention.
Well, and one final thing. I was watching television, couldn't sleep. My hip replacement, my hip's feeling better, but I'm having trouble sleeping. I get up, turn on the channel, the morning news, and there you are at 6:15 in the morning, introducing the Oakland cheerleaders and the band. Man, that had to be tough getting up that early. Do you get up that early all the time?
Yes. So I don't have hip replacement yet. It's probably coming, but I will say this. The only day that I do try to sleep is game day, and unfortunately, knowing that I had to do that, I woke up at 4:00 and just headed on into work. And didn't get a lot of sleep myself, but glad you tuned in. That's one of those deals. We had some people, really happy that it was on TV. So happy so that they didn't come to the ball game, and that's unfortunate. It was one of the worst Battle of the Borough crowds I've ever seen. I mean, I was really, really disappointed. I was a little disappointed in Riverdale. I thought they would have a little bit better, but our crowd was non-existent at times. It was awful, and I'm going to challenge our guys. This team is a heck of a team, but don't expect us to just go in and win every game. It could happen this week. It could be the last time you see the Oakland Patriots play on a Friday night. You better get out, buy your ticket, and come see it in real life. It's a whole lot better in real life. Now, don't get me wrong. Nothing wrong with tuning into the radio, but just get a little earbud, put it in, and listen to it online while watching it live. We got to have better support. We got to have more people at the game.
You can do both. That's right. Amen. All right, Coach. That's Kevin Creasy, the head coach of the Oakland Patriots. Good luck next week, Coach. This portion of the show brought to you by Craig's Tax Service, specializing in personal and business tax preparation, financials, and bookkeeping services. Find out more at craigstaxservice.com.